What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Thank you for being here. This is going to be your video for Cancer season. We're going to be talking about the whole month, the next 30 days of the sun traveling through the sign of Cancer. If you are new here and don't know who I am Cody. I'm an astrologer, just like a lot of other people who do this. I talk about, the energies, about what goes on, describing all the transits and stuff like that. So yeah, if you are new here and are interested into, the work of astrology and stuff like that, and want to just hear my pitch of it, welcome, thank you for being here. If you are a returning, subscriber, or just, Patreon, or just anybody, thank you for being here. I'm glad to be continuing these videos and doing this for you guys. It wouldn't be anything if it wasn't for you guys. And I just love doing this. This is what I'm passionate about, and I love teaching, and I love just talking about astrology and stuff like that. So cool. It's cool to be doing this. One thing I want to mention is the merch. I kind of am having a little bit of the merch right now. I got the Code of First Astrology snapback right here, looking pretty sick as hell. I got a moon. This is the moon card. Let me just kind of stand up so you can see the whole thing. This is one of my tarot card designs on my website. There's plenty of other tarot cards if you are into that too, but I also have some zodiac sign, designs and stuff like that. There's like planetary designs on there too. I just released the new Cancer design, so new Cancer merch is out now. Go check it out on the website. I'll put the link in the description box below if you're interested in that, because it looks really cool, and I'm excited. I already ordered a shirt. I can't wait to get it. Hopefully you guys enjoy it too. New merch is going to be coming out very soon. I do at least, I release a new design every month, or maybe a couple designs if I'm, feeling a little extra. So it's been fun doing that stuff. My July sales are out now. I believe I'm going to be having a 25% off sale on the 4th, and then like 5 days after that or 4 days after that, we're having a 20% off sale over on the website. So feel free to take advantage of these sales. And I hope you guys enjoy it. There's plenty of sales going on every month. There's plenty of designs that I release every month as well too, so I just want to kind of put that out there. So let's get into Cancer season. So it's hot, it's summer, I'm already feeling the heat where I'm at. I'm just like, I'm not excited about it, but hey, this is just where we're at, in the time of the year. So nothing to complain. Hopefully you guys are in some cooler climates, but I know a lot of the country right now has just been going through a lot of higher temperatures than normal. So, stay cool, stay hydrated and stuff like that. We're in Cancer season. We need to stay hydrated. We need to stay nurtured and stuff like that. So the sun will enter Cancer on June 20th. And before I continue, I think I did a video of the month of June. I think it was like either last month or the beginning of this month or whatever. So these videos that I've been making are just basically a continuation of each one. I do the monthly videos. We're talking about the whole month, talking about everything that happens in the month, and then going through all 12 zodiac signs, explaining all the main transits or main aspects that are happening for each sign, showing you the placements of like where they're at in the houses for each sign and stuff like that. A lot of stuff. And these other videos, just for the seasons, it's just basically talking about the 30 days the sun will be in that zodiac sign. So so if you have watched that, I posted that on YouTube not too long ago, but this will be a continuation because we are going into the month of July, giving you a little preview of what I will be talking about in the next video when I talk about the full astrological monthly overview for the month of July. So we're going to talk a little bit about it because this is where Cancer season is, the end of June into most of July. So that's kind of like the whole, vibe, or what I do with these videos and stuff like that, and where we kind of go with it. So this is Cancer season. So June 20th, the sun will enter Cancer at 0 degrees. You can see this right here. Okay. We also have Venus in here and Mercury in Cancer as well. So the vibe has shifted. We've had a stellium, a huge stellium in Gemini in the past month. Everything was kind of all over the place. You know, we had the sun there, Venus there, Mercury there, Jupiter there. We had a new moon there as well. It's just been chaotic. And they were all squaring these planets in Pisces over here, Saturn and Neptune. Yeah, that was kind of tough dealing with, for the most part, you know. But that's kind of like going away. We're getting into more, I guess you could say, more harmonious or positive aspects, transits, having all these planets travel through, you know, Cancer, water sign, because they're going to be trining these planets in Pisces, which will feel a lot better. Yes, Saturn is stationing retrograde, so Saturn's been very loud this month. It's been, you know, a lot to handle. I'm sure a lot of you have had a lot of challenges. You know, Saturn, authority figures, responsibilities, maturity, just disciplining yourselves. You know, doing the hard things. You know, because Saturn is slowing down, and when Saturn comes to a halt, he's like kind of like, okay, now that I've given you all these new responsibilities and stuff like that, now it's time to implement, you know, these new responsibilities and see what works and see what doesn't work, and, you know, try to make it more real, because that's what Saturn is. And I guess that's kind of like a little preview of like the end of June, because that's where everything, you know, that's when Saturn's basically coming to a halt. It's June 29th when Saturn officially stations retrograde. So yeah, and he'll be retrograde until like I think November. So most of this year, 4 or 5 months or whatever, something like that, he'll be in retrograde. But yeah, and another thing, whenever the sun comes into a sort of like a trine to any of these outer planets, that's basically that planet either changing to go retrograde or shifting to go direct. So it's kind of like a little tip there, you know. So yeah, just kind of wanted to throw that out there. But let's get into some keywords of Cancer season, or just the sun in Cancer, whatever. So Cancer is a water sign, obviously. It's a cardinal sign. It is the beginning of summer, or winter for the southern hemisphere. So Cancer is basically considered the crab. That's the whole, I guess you could say, whatever it is, the animal or the mascot or the theme or the archetype, whatever you want to call it. It's a crab. And Cancer is really about like protection, nurturing, like I said in the beginning in this video. It's about just like feeling nurtured and feeling safe. It's a very home kind of energy, like keeping your home like safe and you know, secure basically, and stuff like that. This sign can be very sensitive. I should say it's ruled by the moon. The moon rules Cancer. It finds its domicile, home sign when the moon is in Cancer. It can feel, you know, nurtured. It can feel all the feels. It feels comfortable being in its home when the moon is in Cancer. So we'll have a new moon in Cancer, I think sometime in July, but we will get to that. Yeah, we'll get to that a little later. So the first thing that really happens during Cancer season, I know I just kind of just said a few keywords, but let's just kind of, you know, move on, you know, start talking about the important stuff. So we're going to go to the July 21st, and that's when we're having the full moon in Capricorn, because that's literally the first thing that happens, like beginning of Cancer season. So full moons, you know, full moons are illuminating anything that's, you know, that's been hidden. Full moon is basically coming to, you know, its fullest point. The sun is in Cancer, shining a light on the moon, which is in the opposite sign, because that's what a full moon represents, is when the moon is opposite the sun and we get that full moon. So, I mean, I was looking at the moon last night, and I was just like, wow, this moon looks, you know, so nice. It was just so bright, so big, you know, it's cool. I love looking at a full moon. I think a lot of people do too. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but yeah. So this full moon in Capricorn, you know, basically whatever started during the new moon in Gemini on June 6th, this is the culmination point. You know, 2 weeks after that. So yeah, the full moon is just coming to a light. But one thing I want to say before we jump into, move on, is this is the first of 2 full moons in the sign of Capricorn, which I've been really thinking about, lately, since I've been kind of, doing this astrology thing and, looking at the transits coming up. And it's like whenever wherever the moon's at, full moon, the sun is illuminating, shining its all of its light. The moon is reflecting the light that the sun is beaming on the moon. And in the sign of Capricorn, like I'll say a few key words, but Capricorn is an earth sign. It's a Saturn ruled sign. It's also a cardinal sign, which is also about initiation, initiating stuff, starting something new. It's a very conservative sign, very responsible, very just, focus on the long-term goals and stuff like that. Responsibilities, maturity. It could be a cold kind of energy. Very objective as well, or rejective, because I don't know, that's just kind of like the whole vibe. It's a very realistic kind of sign and stuff like that. Very disciplined, hardworking, cautious, pessimistic, ambitious. That's another keyword for Capricorn. So yeah, that's a few keywords of Capricorn. But what I was kind of going to, what I was getting to of this area being illuminated, we're going to have one right, beginning of Cancer season, and then another full moon in Capricorn towards the end of Cancer season, which will be the end of July, or, maybe middle of July or whatever. This Capricorn area for all of us, is really being illuminated. And, Capricorn can represent governments and corporations and structures and stuff like that. And I just feel this all this stuff in the full moons in Capricorn, I should say, both of them, it's just really illuminating a lot of things coming to light when it comes to Capricorn themes, like I just mentioned. And I mean, Pluto is not in Capricorn, so this is the first, I guess you could say, lunation. Not having Pluto in the sign of Capricorn. I mean, Pluto will enter Capricorn in September through November, but it's I feel bringing up a lot of just stuff that Pluto has been basically corrupting or bringing to light. Just a bunch of stuff. I don't know. I just feel just pay attention to the media, because as we get towards later on this year, we are in election year. And things are already starting to build up and boil up. The battles of the elections are boiling up, basically. So I mean, there's a lot of tension going on, and I just feel these 2 full moons in Capricorn are really gonna just illuminate or really get the party started of of how the rest of the year is going to affect or something, be affected. I don't know. Just kind of pay attention to what you hear over the next month. I just feel that's something to think about. It could be anything as well, but yeah, whatever house Capricorn rules for all of us, which we will get to the horoscopes towards the end of the video. Excuse me, we can talk about that a little bit more, but yeah, just pay attention to this area of life, because it's really being lit up at this point. So at the same time, Mercury is forming a little sextile to Mars over here in Taurus. I mean, Mars is in Taurus, it's the energy's been kind of slowing down. We're not really ambitious. We don't have all this energy to just go when Mars was in Aries the past month or so. As Mars kind of just enters Taurus, the energy kind of just leveled out. We have tried to find a consistent way of continuing this momentum of all this built up energy that we started when Mars was in Aries. Mars isn't in the best sign right now. It's in detriment in the sign of Taurus, but it can't really do as much as it likes to. But I feel all these planets moving into the sign of Cancer, forming this little sextile to Mars and eventually Uranus later on, I feel this is a little boost of what can help Mars, basically keep going. Cancer, Taurus is a very secure, stable kind of energy, very safe and comfortable and stuff like that. So I feel like just Mercury, the planet of the mind, communication, processing information, stuff like that, sharing ideas. In the sign of Cancer, it's more sensitive, very caring and stuff like that. Giving a sextile to to Mars, the planet of action, drives, what gets us going and stuff like that. There's something here that can really, I don't know, maybe give us some type of direction or help us, basically going it like a, I don't know, like going a good, safe, comfortable kind of direction, I guess I'd say. Something like that. I don't know. Maybe it's a weird little vibe, but yeah. And then Venus will end up making a sextile to Mars eventually, which will kind of help boost the relationships and desires of what we want and stuff like that. Mars will be in contact with the ruler, which is Venus of Taurus and stuff like that. So that'll kind of help out, and then the Sun will eventually make a sextile to Mars as well. But yeah. So let's just kind of move on. That's what's kind of cool about this Cancer season. Everything will start to kind of, we'll have a little bit more harmonious aspects and stuff like that. Like maybe the first half of June was kind of a little chaotic, a little hectic, maybe a little bit challenging because there was challenging squares. But now that we're getting into like more softer kind of energy, it'll feel a little better. And I mean, talk about Cancer, we'll be able to feel all the feels. It's a water sign. It's a very just wet, just like pouring it all out on the table and stuff like that. So, yeah. So it's a kind of, it'll feel better. It'll feel better as we kind of go through this month and stuff like that. Okay, and then the planets start to, like I said, start trining Saturn and stuff like that. Let's see, I think it's towards like the end of the month. Right here. You could say like the 25th, 26th, something like that. This is when Mercury forms a trine to Saturn. The moon's there too as well, so that's going to be very wet kind of transit and stuff like that. It's going to feel good. So Mercury trining Saturn, that's a very really nice aspect. They have these planets were in challenging aspects or tense aspects to Saturn when they were traveling through Gemini. Now they're going through Cancer, and this is like a very helping hand. It's a very easier kind of vibe when they start forming these trines to Saturn and eventually Neptune, as we pass through the Cancer season. Mercury, the planet of the mind, process information, how we vocalize, stuff like that. In good hands with the planet of Saturn, which is all about, authority figures, responsibilities, long-term goals, maturity, disciplining ourselves. It's going to feel good. We're going to feel emotionally, I guess, discipline through our emotions and stuff like that, or just whatever plans and stuff like that we basically have, because Saturn's about long-term gains, long-term goals, long-term plans and stuff like that. This can really set the tone of where we are going and stuff like that. Here, I think if I close this a little bit, it's just kind of bright. I don't know. That's fine. I think that's all right. But yeah, these plans or whatever, I feel like eventually they'll start to feel, get the ball rolling as they, connect with Saturn, and Saturn will kind of guide us. Hey, do this and that. If you do these little step-by-step things, you'll gain these things eventually in the long term. And that's kind of Saturn's energy. We have to do these little small tasks that are very annoying, I bet, for everything, because that's just the Saturn way. But we earn these whatever we have worked for, we will earn, and that's kind of Saturn's vibe. So, and then Venus will trine, or I shouldn't say trine, she's making a sextile to Mars, which is very very easy. It's very soothing, it's very attractive, it's very just very nice and soft and comfortable connections with our relationships, what we desire, what we want to go after. It'll help Mars in Taurus kind of boost its way, give it a little bit of a level up, help Mars kind of do what it needs to do, what it can, basically, because Mars in Taurus, it can't really do everything that it wants to do. It has to do it in the Venus way, because Mars is in a Venus ruled sign. So I hope that makes sense. But yeah, So Mars in the planet in the sign of Taurus, you know, it has to just do things at a consistent pace. It's very stubborn kind of energy, doesn't like change. And like I said, we have to find a consistent motion, way of like gaining our momentum or just continuing on whatever energy we have. And we use a little bit at a time. You know, Taurus is about another like long-term energy, you know, and I feel like people who have Mars and Taurus, you know, have that desire for that long-term gain. It's about stability, security, and stuff like that. So it could be about, you know, financial gains as well too. So I feel like people who have Mars and Taurus are really in for the long term, the long run of things. Like I feel like it could be very beneficial, you know, even if it's not the best placement, you know, it really has like a desire for just success, you know, and that's all Mars wants, you know, when it's in Taurus. It wants comfort, it wants security, it wants success and stuff like that. So having these like planets, having the ruler Venus in Cancer, bringing a more softer kind of vibe, a desire of what we attract and stuff like that, it's really helping Mars out. And I feel like that really is awesome, you know, it's good. It kind of really helps, you know, our direction of where we're going after and stuff like that. I don't know, it's a really nice, soft, cool aspect basically. So and then after that, these planets start to, you know, sextile Uranus. So let's see, okay, I think it's, when is it? Okay, it's that day, so the 29th. So this is basically when Saturn's stationing retrograde, I should say, not direct. Yeah, he's stationed retrograde. Mercury is coming into a sextile with Uranus, and this is like an unexpected, like, hallelujah, you know, like, oh my god, I just discovered this thing out unexpectedly, you know. It's kind of like a eureka moment or something like that. So, you know, this is kind of like either trying a new recipe or trying something, you know, you're thinking about, you know, like security and just feeling, you know, nurtured. How can I nurture myself a little bit more? You know, you're having these thoughts, Mercury and Cancer, about, you know, what can nurture myself, what can make me feel nourished and just feel good. Having it sextile Uranus and Taurus is like, you know, using material gains into making things a little bit more secure for you, either financially with your money, buying something that feels pretty good, or just kind of discovering some new idea that can really, you know, mix these two energies together and make it like kind of like an explosion of like happiness, or just not really happiness, but just makes you feel good. You know, I feel like that's kind of what it is. It's a very exciting, like, unexpected vibe shift. And you're like, whoa, didn't expect that, but I figured this out. So it's a little opportunity to kind of like try something new. So what makes you feel secure, nurtured, and stuff like that. So, and the same day, Saturn is stationing retrograde. So, like I said in like the beginning of this video, you know, this whole month, I mean, over the past couple months, Saturn's been slowing down. It's been getting as far into, like, this is as far as Saturn's gonna go in the sign of Pisces for this year. And then he'll end up going backwards, doing this whole retrograde thing. He'll go from 19 degrees, he stations retrograde, all the way back to like 12 degrees of Pisces. So if you have any placements between 12 and 19 of the mutable signs, or in Pisces, I should say, you will be probably more challenged at this time. But like I said, it's a Saturn transit. Saturn transits are not easy, but if you really do the step-by-step things and listen to that, I guess, Saturnian energy, whatever you want to call it, that authority kind of figure, vibe or whatever, you will gain the rewards that Saturn has tested you with. And that's the whole point of it. Yes, it's not easy. It sucks. Honestly, we can honestly say that Saturn's energy sucks. You know, it's hard. It's hard work, but Saturn wants us to do the hard work in order to either like just gain those, earn those gains, earn those new lessons, or whatever that he has presented to us. That's kind of the whole vibe. And if we do these things, we can understand what is rewarded from what we have gone through. So Saturn retrograde. I think Saturn's gonna be retrograde until like November. I don't know what date, but I think that's the last time that Saturn went direct last year. So think about all the responsibilities. Think about, you know, these. Let's just focus on responsibilities. Since last November, I don't know, beginning of November or whatever, that's when Saturn went direct. From November of 2023 to June of 2024. That was when Saturn basically went direct. So think about all the responsibilities you maybe earned or started to work on. Like if it's a new job or something, you know, you started a new job and, you know, you had these new responsibilities, these new duties that you had to fulfill and stuff like that. As Saturn slows down, stationed retrograde, it's like, okay, this is as far as we are going to go. Now let's go back and kind of see what works and see what doesn't work. And like I said, we have to implement these changes or these responsibilities, these duties, into making them more real. Saturn is about reality. Like I said, most of this month of June, it's been a very reality check kind of month. We've had to discipline ourselves a lot this month. Very just get down and focus on the down and dirty stuff. We had to get down and dirty and like really like, you know, consolidate all these responsibilities and stuff like that. It's been a very, very high, like, potent, is that the word? Potent? It's been very high. Like, his energy has been very, very high because he's at a turning point at this point. And Neptune's basically about to station retrograde as well, too. Like, and that we'll follow up to that because that's when we get into July. So we're in July now. So the first thing happens in July is Mercury is going into Leo. So it says here, let me go to the second. Okay, so, and I believe that's when Neptune stations retrograde as well. Yeah, I have it on the second as well. So yeah, so Mercury goes into Leo, shifts the whole vibe, gets a little bit louder, gets a little bit bold, impulsive in a way, very just showy office, you know. It's a very centered, self-centered kind of vibe, which can be a good thing or a bad thing. Doesn't matter. But one important thing is, as soon as these planets get into Leo, they will be making an opposition to Pluto. So that's not going to feel easy. Just put that out there. Mercury and Leo, you know, it's a very just loud, bold, you know, go big or go home kind of energy. It's a very like I said, self-centered. It's a very like huge kind of I don't know. It's a very loud, self-centered, just like, look at me, you know? Having it opposite Pluto, though, this is where the power struggles might come up, you know, even if it's, you know, with the media or about other things, you know? You want to like start paying attention about you know, when all these planets go opposite Pluto, because this is where things are going to start rolling, because Pluto's about to go back into Capricorn, and we're getting into July now. Pluto has all of July, all of August before it goes back into Capricorn. So we have a little bit left of Pluto and Aquarius for the next couple months during this period of where we're at right now. And as all these planets go opposite Pluto, I feel like this is just building up to what, like, all of this power struggles, or just, you know, not even thinking about power struggles. Think about like this, like, Pluto can represent fear, corruption, and stuff like that. Like, so say you're doing the Mercury and Leo thing. You're very, you know, loud and proud, you know, saying it from your chest, you know. You come across people. I mean, Pluto's in the sign of Aquarius, the sign of the people. This can be just like somebody like saying something that really pisses you off or really crosses you the wrong way or something. It's like Mercury and Leo is like the performer. You're on stage, you're performing something, and then somebody in the audience doesn't like it, you know, starts creating a little chaos, corrupting, you know, this little vibe. And you have to either stand your ground, which is a really good thing of Mercury and Leo. You know, Mercury and Leo will say it and will be stubborn and will do anything just to, you know, say it like it is. But then you have the Pluto side, which can be, you know, bring these people, you know, you bring opposite people. You know, it's like somebody, an outsider, going against the grain of you know, what you want or what you are trying to talk to them about. I hope that makes sense. You're going to find some conflicts in between that stuff. You know, it's either you stand your ground or you are going to be very fearful and you're not going to be wanting to, you know, it's not going to feel good or something. So kind of just be mindful of these two energies. But if you can find a little bit of a balance between this, which is what an opposition really asks for. It asks for some balance. It asks for meeting in the middle. It asks for these things. So yes, you're going to want to say it like it is, be bold and stuff like that. You're going to come across some oppositions from either people, maybe a relationship, maybe somebody in your job, or just a family member, anything. Kind of watch these little things out. Neptune stationing retrograde. Look at Neptune, 29 degrees, 55 minutes of Pisces. Like literally 5 minutes and she's in Aries. Or I can say she. I don't know if Neptune is a she or a he. So what am I saying? Like, but that's just crazy to me, you know, because Neptune is like literally on the cusp of like moving into Aries, and it doesn't do it just yet. But it will in like March of 2025, which is just something that we can just go on and talk about. Like I could probably do a video about that. I don't know. We'll see. There's a lot of things that I could before that actually happens. But Neptune retrograde, I kind of want to say it's kind of like I wouldn't just say it's kind of like a whole Saturn thing. Like, oh, you've been introduced to these new like dreams or fantasies or illusions or whatever. When Neptune stations retrograde and then goes back over whatever territory, excuse me, I think it's gonna be like 29 to like 27 degrees or 26 degrees of Pisces, whatever, something like that. I feel like when Neptune station goes retrograde, like these illusions that Neptune has kind of like brought to us, you know, really like covered, I don't know, all these illusions and stuff like that. When Neptune goes retrograde, I feel like we start to understand, you know, that's when the veil comes clear. It's very thin. We see through like these illusions. We see what's real. We see what's real, and we understand what's not real. And I feel like that's the most important thing about Neptune, especially when it goes retrograde or direct. It like, you know, it brings out all these new little vibes and, you know, things that look interesting, but they could either be lies, lies with the media, lies with anybody you're talking to, just, you know, getting lost in the sauce and stuff like that. Like I said, it's about fantasies, dreams, delusions and stuff like that, which can be good or bad. You know what I mean? Illusions and delusions are kind of okay sometimes, you know? Sometimes, you know, ignorance is bliss. You know, and that saying, I feel like, has some like really deep meanings to that, you know? Because it's like, if we don't know the truth or whatever is beyond there, it's okay, you know? And I feel like, but that's kind of the whole vibe to it. We'll start to understand these like illusions that Neptune has presented us since it's been direct, since like December or something like that. But kind of think about that stuff, you know, over the past couple months, or just past 6 months, you could just say, when Neptune is, you know, gone direct, you know, think about, you know, these things, you know, what is real to you and what isn't real, because I feel like that's what Neptune's really going to be doing. And another thing that Neptune does is dissolves whatever, you know, whatever house, I guess, whatever it is. It's all about dissolving and stuff like that. And that's another like important key word for Neptune retrograde. It's going to be dissolving these illusions or stuff that is not real, you know, because Neptune, I feel like, can be a very good energy, but it could also be the opposite, which is like not good. But I feel like because of what Neptune's job is to really just like cover the whole, like cover everything with just illusions and stuff like that, stuff that looks kind of like, ooh, it's like filming, it's like a movie or something like that. Think about a movie, any movie or whatever, or movies that just have some like CGI effects or just some crazy like, whoa, like that's a little like interesting and stuff like that. That's kind of like the vibe and of like Neptune's energy. I can't spit it out. So think about that. I believe Neptune will be in retrograde until like December of this year, later on this year. So we have a lot, basically the next 6 months to like really understand what illusions that we've been, I guess, understanding or that have been presented to us. We're gonna start to understand like these little things and like see what's real and what's not real. Okay, and basically, well, Mercury was basically in a trine to Neptune as well, so that kind of like really, well, when it was in Cancer, I should say, it's still in this at this point. But yeah, that's kind of just like really understanding and seeing beyond the veil and stuff like that of like because like when Mercury is in Cancer or whatever, in a trine or a really harmonious aspect to Neptune, it really kind of has us like tap into our intuition. What's our intuition telling us? You know, that, think about that. You know, it's not a challenging aspect, which is like, what does that mean? That's not the clarity that I'm getting. Like, what? It's not a square or a challenging aspect. It's like, okay, here's an opportunity to really tap into what your gut is telling you. You know, and maybe these illusions that you've really been presented to you, you're really gonna start to understand what is real and what is good for you and what is not good for you. So pay attention to that. That's what I would say. Another thing happening on this day is Venus is trining Saturn. So another good thing, you know, but when it's Venus and Saturn, it's about commitments, it's about relationships, it's about putting these relationships to the test. But they're both in water signs, right? You know, this is really feeling these commitments. This is deepening, I should say, these connections, these commitments to your partner, any relationships, any long-term goals that you want to attract, want to just like earn and stuff like that. Venus, the planet of love, beauty, what's enjoyable and stuff like that. Like I said, relationships as well too. And Saturn's about long-term goals and like putting like structures and responsibilities and stuff like that. So this is like a really helping hand. This is like, hey, you know, this is a time to really deepen these connections or whatever to your long-term goals or what you want for the long term. And it's gonna be easy. It's gonna feel good. You know, you're gonna be like, you know what? Maybe these people are really worth my time. You know, and that's kind of like the whole vibe shift to it. The sun will be coming into a a sextile to Mars, but I have the Mercury opposite Pluto. I talked about that. We have the new moon in Cancer happening next, so let me get to that. And this new moon in Cancer is basically kind of sextiling Mars in a way. I mean, it's also trining Saturn, but look at this. Mars is sextiling Saturn, as well as, you know, these planets in Cancer are connecting to these two malefics. Excuse me. So let's talk about this real quick. Here we are at the new moon in Cancer, which is on the 5th of July. So the day after 4th of July. New moons, refreshing the energies, you know, starting something new, setting the intentions, you know, the whole manifestation, whatever, you know, spiritual, like the whole spiritual community being like, this is the time to, you know, implement these new changes and, you know, start something new and something like that. Like, but it happens every month, you know, so it's nothing really new. But we can say, you know, new moon in Cancer, you know, setting these new intentions about, you know, feeling protective, nurtured, you know, are you getting enough water? Are you, you know, taking care of what your needs and stuff like that? And, you know, these planets connecting to Saturn and Mars in these like earth and water signs, it's really like helping us to be nurtured or giving us an opportunity to focus on securing ourselves. Doing what's necessary for us, or maybe taking care of a family and stuff like that, any of that. I can see here Mercury's coming into a sextile with Jupiter as well. I don't know if I have that written down, but I'm like seeing all these like things and stuff like that. I don't think I wrote it down, but okay, but yeah. So yeah, that's new moon in Cancer. So just really implement these new changes into protecting yourself, feeling nurtured, doing what's necessary for you, something like that. I believe this is like kind of in the bends of the nodes, kind of. So this is like the halfway point of like eclipse season of like the midpoint or whatever. before we start getting into eclipse season as well, because they're in the cardinal signs of Libra and Aries. So this is like, you know, the in-between. So this can be a very fateful time, or fateful new moon, if you want to say that. Maybe you'll, you know, whatever happens during this time, you'll see the changes happen when we get to the next set of eclipses. So just another thought about that. Okay, let's see. I got the Mars sextile Saturn. That's kind of like happening right now. So Mars in Taurus, sextile Saturn in Pisces. Like I said, with these planets going into Cancer, kind of sextiling Mars, giving a little boost to Mars, helping Mars out, basically operate pretty well. Having Mars sextile Saturn, this is like really implementing these long-term goals, you know, putting the tests, putting the step-by-step goals into what we need and what direction we will basically, I guess, earn of what's possible. This is a small opportunity. This isn't going to be the biggest thing in the world. Like, if you do this and that, you'll be earning the biggest thing ever. No, this is like a small step. This is like, okay, here's a little helping hand that you could do to help either, you know, whatever direction you're heading into, because Saturn's like authority figures, and let's just say like you're in a job, or you're working with people, or you're with people who are kind of like cheering you on, they're supporting you and stuff like that. This is kind of like a really helping hand, like, hey, even though you're not really in the best, you know, state of mind of doing things this way, but let me kind of help you out, you know, and maybe, you know, boost you up a little bit, you know, kind of help you out. And this will kind of help out whatever you do at this time. Yeah, because Mars is in detriment. It's not really doing well, but having, you know, Saturn kind of like boost Mars up a little bit, it's going to feel easy, you know, even though they're the two malefics, but this is a good aspect between the two malefics. So it's a really like boost in your direction of, you know, what you're where you're heading into. This could be either with financial stuff as well, or just any goals that you have in mind. This can really help you out. And during this new moon is a great chance to really just like take care of what is necessary, not what you want, because it's like all these, like some of these planets are not really functioning in the best state of mind. But it's like, what can we do in the meantime? What can we do to really, you know, help us out, basically? That's kind of how I see this new moon and like the vibe and stuff like that. Okay, next thing happening is Venus is coming into sextile with Uranus, and Mars is basically coming into a conjunction with Uranus too. So that's a little like unexpected things kind of popping up too. So it's like whatever like these goals or whatever direction you're kind of heading into, it's not the best way to operate, but you're kind of heading in some direction. And then as Mars kind of comes into this conjunction with Uranus, you're gonna be like unexpected, going to, hold on, I need a drink. You're going to be coming across something that's like really unexpected and really shifts you into something new. Or this could be, you know, explosions, like literal or figuratively or whatever. So it could be dangerous. It could be exciting. You know, I would just kind of just be careful during this time, because you never know what could happen. But it's a very like huge shift. Like, oh, didn't expect that. I'm doing this now. So kind of look out to what you're doing at that time, around like the beginning of July, towards the middle. Venus sextiling Uranus though, that's kind of like, I mean, like helping that, helping Mars out as well. Kind of shifting the whole vibe, you know, trying something new. Venus is about, you know, relationships, love, beauty, what we attract and stuff like that. So maybe it's like kind of trying something new with a partner, doing new things. That could be anything. Or just kind of just, you know, finding some unexpected things that really like help your desires just increase and stuff like that. Like this can be, you know, like I said, it could be very financial, finding some good financial security, or getting a boost in your finances, or just like trying new things, and like finding that like eureka moments of like, oh, I didn't expect that, and I got all this new things and stuff like that. And it'll help, you know, because these like I said, Cancer, Taurus, very secure, very comfort, very like just safe, you know, you feel, it feels good. You can mix these two energies together and stuff like that. So very, very interesting. The sun is coming into a trine with Saturn as well, so that's a really, like I said, it's a great helping hand that's really kind of focusing on deepening these long-term goals, these long-term like ambitions that you have, deepening it, feeling safe, secure, kind of following, you know, following your intuition to, you know, whatever fate has to offer, and you're really kind of just putting, you know, your faith into the actions you take, your long-term goals. Saturn in Pisces is kind of like really blocking these tasks out when it comes to like having faith and stuff like that, not knowing the like what's beyond in the future and stuff like that. And that's what Saturn in Pisces has been kind of teaching us, is to really take it one step at a time, listening to our intuition, seeing what's real, what's not real, what's good for us and what's not good for us, and kind of just following fate as what fate has to offer. I feel like I'm like repeating myself, but yeah, when the sun comes into a trine with Saturn, it's really just deepening this feeling, you know, it's feeling safe, feeling nurtured and stuff like that. So Mercury, I did put this down. Mercury is coming into a sextile with Jupiter. Very nice. You know, Jupiter is in Mercury's house of or Mercury's sign of Gemini. And Mercury's in Leo. So this is like, I would say this is kind of like big news in a way, or really just trying something new, and it's really kind of like a lot of information is just kind of like buzzing, and you're really like, this could help you out into, you know, just doing whatever the Jupiter in Gemini is all about. Jupiter in Gemini, you know, it's in detriment, it's not in the best place, but it's trying to rationalize all of these things and, you know, bring it into like the bigger picture in a way. Talk about faith, I mean, that's Jupiter right there, I mean, but it's in the opposite sign that it's normally used to. So it's kind of like the smaller things, and it's trying to make these small things big, and it's kind of having a little difficult time trying to understand what it's doing. But I feel like having Mercury and Leo is really just kind of helping out, you know, helping us out with these Jupiter, you know, and Gemini things. You know, this can be bold new opportunities, bold new like ways of communicating, and like raising your higher, you know, vibe, or raising your higher mind to do some, you know, big things or something. It's a lot of information, I feel like it is. So if you're having a little bit of trouble understanding just Jupiter and Gemini, it's okay. We only have it for about, you know, the next year. So it is bringing a lot of growth though, you know, a lot of growth, a lot of opportunities in a new way, abundance, faith and stuff like that. So yeah, it's an interesting kind of vibe. Let's see, the next thing is Venus is coming into a trine to Neptune, which is right there. Okay. So Venus, Neptune, trine, this is like really like listening to your intuition and like knowing, you know, what's good and what's not good. This could also, this could also, I would say watch out and be careful, because there's going to be, you know, illusions and stuff like that, no matter if it's good or bad. So pay attention of who you're coming into contact with, who you're attracting, or just what you're it's not that bad though. I mean, but it, like I said, it could go either way. But for the most part, I feel like this is really heightening our intuition, heightening this intuitive vibe of like what's good, or I should say, it's very heightening this unconditional type of love of who we, you know, basically give off to. It's like Venus, Neptune, yeah, it's all about unconditional type of vibes and stuff like that. And then they're both in water signs, because this could really deepen, you know, this unconditional type of connections, or whoever you're talking to, or, you know, vibing with, or whatever, or you're loving or whatever. It's going to bring a really, really sweet aspect to this. So That's what I can say about that. And then she goes into Leo, basically the next day. Hot girl summer is here, you know, Venus and Leo. I think it was last year, Venus went into Leo and she did the whole retrograde thing. So she's not going retrograde this time around, but they kind of think about the themes of what happened, you know, last year when she was in Leo. So Venus and Leo, very like out there, you know, center stage, kind of just like, this is who I am. This is, you know, this is who I love, and blah blah blah. Like just kind of being the center of attention, you know, and attracting all of this attention. But here's the kicker: Venus goes opposite Pluto. So like I was saying with Mercury going opposite Pluto, this is Venus going opposite Pluto. So when Venus goes opposite Pluto, there could be manipulation. There can be a lot of power struggles, like fear-based when it comes to love, who we're loving, who we're attracting or connecting with, and stuff like that. So we want to watch out for that stuff. What else can I say? Yeah, it's Venus. Like, yes, Venus and Leo wants to be, you know, showing off, you know, doing all these bold things, and, you know, hot girl summer, like, yeah, look at me and stuff like that. But you're going to come across some oppositions, you know, like I said, with other people or just anybody or whatever. You're going to have to find some kind of balance, maybe like tone it down a bit with the Venus and Leo stuff. Maybe wait until after Venus kind of leaves this opposition to really enjoy this hot girl summer. I keep saying it, like, I know, it's crazy. But just watch out. You know, you're going to come into some, you know, manipulations or power struggles or just fear-based stuff, you know, just watch out, you know, of who you're coming into contact with and stuff. So, let's see, what's the next thing happening? Mars is conjunct Uranus. That's the next big thing. All right, so Mars and Uranus are conjunct. This is going to be unexpected things. Either we could see some literal, like, explosions. This could be, you know, confrontational, like, uncomfortable confrontations. This could literally liberate a lot of stuff. Maybe if you've been doing a lot of, just if things have been feeling dull, this is really going to, like, you know, shift you out of this kind of uncomfortability, or just shift you into a new state, you know, like kind of like feeling liberated into not doing the same routine. You're trying something new out, going against the grain, doing stuff that, you know, most people don't, you know, wouldn't think you'd be doing, just kind of like that outsider kind of vibe and stuff like that. But Uranus is really like shaking things up. And when it comes to, you know, Mars and Uranus, this is like anything can happen, literally. Like that's what I can say. Anything can happen during Mars Uranus transit. So just look out of what happens. Maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you kind of break free from certain vibes or certain things that you've been doing, which could feel good. Either way, you're breaking free out of something when Mars comes into contact with Uranus. So sorry to tell you if it's bad or good. I mean, literally anything can happen. So, but we should really be careful though, honestly, because anything, like literally anything can happen. Wow. And there goes my video. Just dropped the camera. That's gonna be awkward watching that over. Sorry about that. Moving on. All right, so and then the sun will basically come into a sextile with Uranus, and you could say with Mars too as well. Let's see. Right. Oh no, actually it's on this day. Okay. So the sun sextile Uranus. This is actually can help boost your way of liberating these out of these routines or dull moments that you've been probably dealing with. The sun's in Cancer still. It could be, you know, very, you know, finding some unexpected things that help you feel secure, help you, you know, feel stable, safe and stuff like that. Shaking things up a bit, don't matter what it is. Yeah, I mean, like the sun is in a sextile with Mars as well, with Uranus, so this could really like shift the whole vibe to it. The sun is also coming into a trine with Neptune as well. So that's also going to like really enhance your intuition of, you know, anything like of what feels good, what doesn't feel good. But this is really like really heightening our intuition and like these vibes and stuff like that. So really listen to these, listen to your intuition, maybe towards the end of Cancer season. There's going to be a little bit of things shaking things up, having Uranus coming into contact with the sun as well, and Mars. So anything can happen though. The next big thing before Cancer season ends is Mars is entering Gemini. So Mars gets out of Taurus, he's out of detriment, he's in a new sign, which he's basically operating a little bit better than he has been in the sign of Taurus. We can talk more about this, I think, as we get towards, you know, in the July video and beyond, as we get into August as well. But yeah, this is the second full moon in Capricorn too. So, all right. So basically, this is the end of the whole like Cancer season vibe is like main video. But Mars in Gemini, guys, Mars will be in Gemini until like, I don't know, I think September, and then Mars will enter Cancer, and then Mars will get into shadow, and then Mars will get into Leo for like a little bit, and then station retrograde, go back into Cancer and do its whole retrograde thing. But before we get there, you know, yes, Mars can do multiple things in Gemini. It's like the jack of all trades. Like I've heard of what Mars and Gemini kind of vibe is. But Mars will be coming into a conjunction with Jupiter, and that could be very explosive, very like big things just kind of coming out of the nowhere. But also the thing that's to really watch out for is when Mars comes into a conjunction with Jupiter, they're both going to be forming a square to Saturn, and this is going to happen in August. It's going to be very frustrating, guys. To be completely honest, August, like I've been mentioning this in the past couple of videos, August and beyond is not going to feel good. Mars is in like probably not the best situation right now because Mars is going to eventually go retrograde and stuff like that. But yeah, well, we can talk more about Mars and Gemini in the next video. But here we are at the end of Cancer season. We have a second full moon in Capricorn. So whatever basically was illuminated in the beginning of Cancer season is really being illuminated as we get towards the end of Cancer season. So yeah, that's Cancer season, guys. It's gonna feel nice. It's gonna feel nice. For the most part, it's not bad. You know, there's not many challenging aspects. As we get, you know, as we shift into the end of July, the sun goes into Leo. Yeah, it'll start to be a little challenging. And then we get into like August and like the rest of the year. So it's okay. It's all right, guys. We're still in a position where we are okay. Yeah, there's a lot of things maybe hitting bumps in the road that may be challenging for all of us, or some people, but it'll be okay. So let's get into the horoscopes. All right. Let me just go back all the way to the beginning. For the most part, there's a lot to talk about, actually. Okay, let's go to just there. Okay. All right, so if you're an Aries rising, all these things are in your 4th house, okay? You know, you got the full moon over here in the 10th house, kind of illuminating something in your career, responsibilities and stuff like that, your reputation. Something's coming to light for a little glimpse, because you're going to have another lunation, a full moon in this area of life towards the end of the month. So think about what's being illuminated in your career, in your public life, just what you're trying to do for your long-term goals, maybe trying new skills out. But most of these planets are really focused on your home life. What's like your foundation, you know, maybe having Venus here, maybe you're redecorating, you're renovating your house in some way, taking care of family, or just focusing on your family and doing necessary things that need to be done and stuff like that. So just pay attention to this 4th, 10th house for you Aries. It's cardinal signs as well. But yeah, like these are angular houses. Angular houses are really like very important, I should say. So, but yeah, just think about this full moon happening in your 10th house. You're gonna have another one. Just think about what's being illuminated in your career. Maybe you're changing jobs. Maybe something in maybe you're trying to do something to build like a solid foundation for your home and your public life, something like that. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So we're gonna go with the next thing, which will be Saturn stationing retrograde in your. Oh, whoops! I am all over the place right now. Saturn stationing retrograde in your 12th house. This is gonna be very important. Think about the responsibilities, duties, or whatever when it comes to like these 12th house things. Saturn likes to be in the 12th house. But there's a lot of things that are being kind of blocked behind the scenes of what you're not really seeing, maybe in the backdrop. This could be subconscious themes, maybe something to do with mental health and something like that. But I'm sure what has been very beneficial for you is been following any spiritual guides or having any higher source, higher power kind of like guiding you towards what these whatever duties that you have been implemented when Saturn has been doing its whole thing in here. Let's see, what's the next thing? Mercury is going to be going into your 5th house of Leo. That's going to shift the whole vibe. You're going to be focused on create your creative side, your self-expressions, maybe being a little bit playful, having your what is it, your childlike or whatever, your something, whatever. Either you're going to be very playful with children, or you're just going to be kind of like a performing or whatever, doing things that feel good, focusing on your bucket list items and stuff like that, love, dating, romance, stuff like that. Your inner child, that's what I was thinking of. Kind of feeding your inner child with just like anything, entertainment and pleasures and stuff like that. Let's see, what's the next thing? Neptune's basically going retrograde in your 12th house as well. So illusions, deceptions, fantasies, dreams, something like that. Maybe focusing on like your dreams and like either writing them down or trying to pay attention to what you've been subconsciously, what's been subconsciously, like getting your attention. Basically, you're gonna start to understand these little key words, these key themes. Over the rest of the year, of what's real and what's not real. So maybe keeping a journal, writing things down, keeping important things, in mind of what could be basically illuminated, and what could be really gifted into following guides or just following your dreams and stuff like that. I don't know, just pay attention to your dreams and stuff like that. Let's see, next big thing is the new moon in Cancer happening in your 4th house, resetting the intentions of 4th house themes, home, family, living situation, something like that. So okay, next thing is let's see, we have all these things happening, sextiling your 2nd house, and trining this 12th house of like the earth and water transits. It's gonna feel good, guys, for the most part. Very just secure, stable stuff, something like that, Let's see, what's the next thing happening? Venus enters Leo. So the next big thing is Venus entering your 5th house. That's going to really just enhance the whole love situation. Venus loves to be in the 5th house. It's going to be opposite Pluto in the 11th house. So this could be like your performance and like getting feedback that doesn't feel good, or having power struggles with other people. Pay attention to what happens, kind of stand your ground, find some balance. Maybe don't go overboard. That's kind of what I would say. And then Mars will enter your 3rd house and get out of your 2nd house. Hold on. Oh, man. Okay. Something, okay, before I get there, Mars will conjunct Uranus in your second house. Maybe something boosts in your finances or something like that. You earn more money. You find other ways, unexpected things that really help your work ethic. Something to do with your own resources really, shifts your whole vibe of, your desire of direction, your want. Just pay attention to that too before before Mars gets into your third house. Third house is a lot of things: short-term travel, siblings, interactions, routines, not routines, but like rituals, your commune, social life, things to do with writing. These are going to be very, your desire to go after and chase. Education, interest, something like that. So, and then you have the other full moon in Capricorn, basically coming to a finalization of what's being illuminated in your career. That's what I got for you, Aries. Taurus, I'm gonna have to hold on. We're gonna go back. Okay. Right, we're gonna just start. We'll just start here. I mean, yeah, there's a full moon in Capricorn in your 12th house, Taurus. That's just gonna be illuminated. Let me actually go to it right here. Your 9th house is gonna be illuminated at this point. So 9th house is like higher mind, traveling, philosophies, truths, religion, politics, legal matters. Any of that stuff is really being illuminated at this time. You're gonna have another full moon in this area towards the end of Cancer season, so really pay attention of what is really being illuminated, coming to light. There's a spotlight in your 9th house, so really focus on that. Everything is in your 3rd house of short-term travel, your immediate neighborhood, siblings, interactions, writing projects, being your social life, something like that. So think about this 3rd, 9th house, access of what is being illuminated and what is being activated. Excuse me. Because something will be finalized and you'll start to understand what is being illuminated in this area of life for you. The next thing is Saturn is stationing retrograde in your 11th house. So these responsibilities that deal with your communities, groups of people, your aspirations, any financial wealth, huge financial gains. Maybe you've been working so hard that you are finally getting some type of huge financial gains, or you're trying to keep your you're trying to keep your responsibilities and your duties leveled and trying to do what's right just to pay, maybe certain things and something like that. Really, it's a money house, so just really focus on that. But it's focused on groups of people, working with other people, working for your community services, donations. Like I said, it's opportunities for your community, opportunities for just your finances side to increase, to with a bunch of with abundance and stuff like that. Maybe you've been working hard for your dreams, your aspirations. You're working hard to really make these dreams come true and something like that. Yeah, you also have Neptune here, basically stationing retrograde as well, bringing a little bit of illusions and fantasies and dreams to your actual dreams. So you're really gonna have to you'll start to understand these aspirations that you've been wanting to achieve. Maybe things don't really seem too clear right now, but as these two leave your 11th house, you'll start to understand oh wow, this is what I've been working for, this is what I've earned and something like that. A lot of things kind of shifting, really putting a lot of reality, putting things more putting your dreams into more of a real state mind, something like that. Okay. Let's see, Mercury's in your 4th house of Leo, so Yeah, you have, Mercury opposite Pluto in your 10th house. So something to do with your home life is being opposed to, power struggles, bigger power, like, energies or whatever themes or whatever that are in your your career, your public life. This could be maybe an authority figure, putting its foot down on you, and really kind of it's a superior, somebody in a superior position could be either challenging you of like what you're like challenging your maternal instincts in a way, because Mercury is in your 4th house, and 4th house is about your maternal instincts, your intuition, speaking in a way that's very like nurturing and stuff like that. But you're gonna have some like challenges when it comes to these planets moving in your fourth house being opposed to the Pluto in your 10th. This is going to bring a lot of fear-based themes. It could be, very challenging in a way. So just kind of look out for that. Venus will end up going in there as well. So that's going to really shift the whole vibe of what you're attracting, and maybe manipulation in your public life, and being opposed to what you find easy or what you find enjoyable in your 4th house, like home life and stuff like that. Just another theme. You'll have a new moon in Cancer in your 3rd house, resetting the intentions when it comes to 3rd house themes: communication, siblings, short-term travel, basic education, writing projects, relatives, something like that. You have Venus here a little bit mixed up with it, so it's really implementing more, attracting new love, attracting new ways to express your love, and something like that. So it's a new moon, not the biggest thing in the world. You will have all these things like sextiling, stuff in your 1st house, trining stuff in your 11th. So really implementing the things that really feel good, earth and water. If goes good for you, you're an earth sign, and these water transits are really feeling good for you, I bet. Next thing, I talked about Venus going into Leo, being opposite Venus and something like that. Yes, you're gonna have manipulation, but you're gonna have to kind of find a way to balance out these home work life themes out for you. The next thing is, let's talk about your Mars connecting with Uranus in your 1st house. So this is really shifting the vibe of how you present yourself. You're doing something unexpectedly, or this is something like being liberated in a way that makes you feel more free, feels more liberated in how you impress others and something like that. Something in your personality is really being shifted at this time. And then Mars will enter your 2nd house, and that's gonna really give you the ambition to work and work hard and earn more financial gains and stuff like that, and just your possessions, values, priorities. These are gonna be the key themes of what you're really focused, and what direction you really have what direction you want to chase, basically. That's what Mars is about. It's about chasing after things and having that boost of all right, I'm going in this direction. Okay, so a lot of investments as well. Investments is a key word, I would say. Okay, and then you have the 2nd full moon in Capricorn in your 9th house. So something is being finalized, actually. So you'll start to understand these themes when it comes to like I said, higher mind, religion, higher education, traveling, long distance traveling, foreign stuff. Let's see what else. Legal matters, principles, something like that. So that's what I got for you, Tauruses. All right, Geminis. All right, Geminis, here we go. Oh, okay, we'll start here. All right, so full moon in your 8th house for you, Geminis. This is illuminating stuff that represent, transformation, death-related situations, intimacy, the darker side of your connections with your relationships, things that are hidden, you know, secrets, something to do with like the occult. This can have some themes about, you know, taxes, loans, debts. Maybe you're trying to pay off debts and it's really finally paying off at this time, or it's really showing you, hey, this can be a really key note into what's going to be finalized as we get to the next full moon in Capricorn towards the end of Cancer season. And maybe you do pay off all the debt or certain debts or whatever, or you get some type of like refinances, or on whatever you're like refinancing on a car or a house or whatever, something to do with that. Soul contracts as well. This is really kind of showing you a little bit of the darker side, putting a spotlight in this little dark area for you. Second and eighth house, these are money houses. Second house is your money, eighth house is other people's money. Okay, let's see. So you'll start to understand, you know, when we get to the other full moon in Capricorn at this time, of what's really like either being finalized. Okay, Saturn will station retrograde in your 10th house, as well as Neptune stationing retrograde. So responsibilities, duties. Saturn is in your most public area for you. Maybe it's been really dogging you when it comes to your career, your job, whatever you're trying to build for yourself. You know, maybe you've been really tested and given these authoritarian responsibilities, or having people being superior towards you in your career. Maybe it's been very challenging. It's been squaring your first house to Gemini as we speak since last year. So think about that, you know, think about these responsibilities that you have been gained or that you've been working towards since Saturn's been in this area for you. But yeah, Saturn will station retrograde on the 29th, and then you'll start to implement what's real, what's not working, and what is working for you, and when it comes to your career, doing the right things for your job, really creating a more solid structure for your career. You know, maybe it hasn't been the best job in the world if you haven't been, whatever job you're working, or it's just you know, putting your public life on, you know, trying to build a solid reputation, a solid public life to like really understand what you want to do for the long term, your long-term goals and stuff like that. Think about that stuff, because Saturn has been testing you with all that stuff, as well as Neptune stationing retrograde in your 10th house. These illusions, these fantasies, these dreams that you want to basically, you know, be presented in your public life, you know, you'll start to understand like what is real and what isn't real, like kind of like the whole Saturn vibe and stuff like that. But this is really like understanding like what illusions and what delusions are working for you, and what delusions or illusions or dreams or fantasies, whatever, that are not working for you. You're gonna really see between, you know, the veil. The veil will be very thin at this point, so you'll understand what you need. Okay. Let's see what's the next thing. Mercury's going into your 3rd house. So for you Geminis, this is going to be this is going to be easy for you. Mercury in the 3rd house, you know, already is going to be about communication, sharing interests, you know, focusing on like siblings, doing any writing projects, your transportation. Think about like your car at this time, how you are, you know, traveling, doing things in your immediate environment. You're going to be focusing on that, and it's in Leo, so it's going to be very bold, very loud and proud, basically. That's Mercury in Leo for you. You're going to have an opposition from Mercury in Leo in your 3rd house to Pluto and Aquarius in your 9th house. So there's going to be some power struggles, some fear-based aspects, whatever it is when it comes to, you know, 3rd house, which is like basic communication, the lower mind. And Pluto is in your 9th house of like the higher mind, religion, politics, legal matters. You know, it's really gonna enhance these power struggles or these fear-based things when it comes to these things. So just kind of be careful in what you are, I guess, connecting to when it comes to these things. You don't want to cause any chaos, especially when it comes to like politics. So yeah. And then Venus will end up going eventually. We'll get to that eventually, but yeah, that's gonna like just enhance the whole like the vibe of like power struggles when it comes to like higher education, higher mind, traveling, something like that. So you'll have a new moon happening in your second house around the, what is it, the 5th, restarting, re-implementing these new intentions when it comes to second house themes: money, finances, work ethic, possessions, values, priorities, income, savings. I feel like this could like really, you know, having all these planets in Cancer is really just putting more of a nurturing kind of vibe towards, or really taking care of your financial side. This could be really interesting too. It could really help you, you know, do the necessary things that you need instead of what you want. You know, take care of your priorities and stuff like that. So let's see. Venus will enter Leo at that point, and then go opposite Pluto. Yeah, it's not gonna feel easy, but like I said in the other two signs, kind of, you know, wait, you know, don't go, you know, big and bold and, you know, look at me, I'm doing all these like Venus and Leo stuff. It's like kind of tone it down a little bit. Just kind of like understand that you're gonna have oppositions when it comes to like foreign travel, higher education, traveling, politics, like stuff like that. Truths, philosophies, like, yeah. But Venus and Leo in your third house, really enjoying, you know, connecting with people in your immediate environment, you know, close friends, relatives, siblings, enjoying that time. You know, that's going to be a very interesting kind of transit for you. And I believe after that, yeah, then we're going to talk about the whole Mars forming a conjunction to Uranus in your 12th house. This, you know, Mars traveling through your 12th house is really like Mars isn't in the best situation. You know, it's not operating in the best way in the 12th house. It's kind of like going, you know, doing things a little bit more impulsively, you know, subconscious impulses, really just, you know, that's a Mars in 12th house theme, you know, that I've recognized. And then having Mars conjunct Uranus either can really like do some subconscious impulsive, like unexpected things that just pop off and you're like, whoa, I didn't think I didn't think that would actually go the way that I wanted to, and you could probably hurt yourself, so you want to be careful. Or this could really, like, if you have been kind of just floating and like doing like not really that much, this will really like enhance and like push you in the right direction or shift you in a different vibe and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, anything can happen, but you will kind of feel liberated in some way. Either if you've been following like spiritual guides and stuff like that, this will really like be the time to like be like, wow, like this is the time to really, you know, follow some higher source or whatever that can lead me or that can liberate me from these like impulsive, you know, actions that I've been doing. And then Mars will end up going into your first house alongside with Jupiter. And that's really gonna like give you a lot more energy. Like you are gonna start to feel a little bit more ambitious. You're gonna feel a little bit like, you know, okay, I can do more than one thing. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. You know, Mars in Gemini is a very, like I said, it's the jack of all trades when it's in this sign. So yeah, this is gonna give you a lot more energy to do a lot more things, be very confrontational in your impressions. So you might want to watch out for that, but yeah, it'll give you a lot more energy. Last thing, full moon in Capricorn. You are finally understanding these like things when it comes to, like I said, excuse me, oh my gosh, pardon me guys, wow. Anyways, you are finally being being illuminated when it comes to financial, like debts, intimacy, connecting these little second house, this eighth house themes, your money with other people's money, finding some balance out when it comes to like your priorities and other people's priorities, other possessions, your possessions, a lot of in between things. So that's what I see. All right, Cancers. This is your time to shine, Cancers, all right? Your time to shine. Okay. Actually, we'll go right here. Okay, so full moon happening in your 7th house of Capricorn. This is your time to shine. I mean, happy birthday if you are celebrating your birthday in June or July. Happy birthday, happy solar return. You are really getting a new fresh start. You are also having Venus and Mercury traveling over any planets or your ascendant in the sign of Cancer, giving you a little bit of boost, a little bit of a good feeling. You know, it's a refreshing kind of energy. Having this full moon in Capricorn in your 7th whole sign house. This is you, 1st house, Cancer, and 7th house, other people. So there's some type of balance that you need to work on, compromise. There will be another full moon in Capricorn at the end of Cancer season and you'll really understand like what is really coming to its fullest, you know, being illuminated and stuff like that. 7th house themes, relationships, business contracts, partnerships, anything to do with like marriage, open enemies, agreements, support. I don't know if I said commitments, but commitments, compromise, like I said. Something like that. You know, this first 7th house, you know, it's a very like you versus like me versus you, you know, and that's kind of like the whole vibe of that. So you're going to understand what's going to be coming to its full light, to its fullest towards the end of Cancer season. Right. So the next thing happening is Saturn and Neptune are stationing retrograde in your 9th house of Pisces. Yeah, these planets are in good harmonious transits to you. Very helping hand. It's in your 9th house in a Pisces in a water sign. Feeling good already. You know, you have all these planets moving in through Cancer as well, so it's really feeling good. Sextiling the planets over here in Taurus, Mars and Uranus. It feels good, you know? Okay, so having Saturn stationing retrograde in your 9th house, as well as Neptune. Whatever responsibilities, duties, or whatever, you know, whatever you had to discipline yourself when it comes to, you know, 9th house themes, which is about, you know, higher education, long distance traveling. Maybe you've been limited into your long-term traveling. But, you know, these things to do with like legal matters, philosophies, principles, institutions, academics, like schooling and stuff like that. If you've been really going to school, this is really putting the test of what area of life that you really want to work towards. Because eventually, when Saturn gets into your 10th house, starting next year, and then the following year, you'll probably find the right career, the right skills, or the right area or department, whatever it is that you've been studying for. That's kind of the whole shift of like the 9th house into the 10th. You know, it's a very like, oh, you got to go to school for, you know, this kind of job or something like that, if you are in that, you know, state of mind and something like that. But, you know, maybe you've been limited, like I said, maybe you've been limited, or you've had to discipline yourself when it comes to traveling and stuff like that, philosophy, or any foreign things that you've been maybe wanting to learn. I don't know. Think about all these themes. Let's see. What else can I say? Something to do with the law. Maybe you've been dealing with a lot of stuff with the law. Maybe it's like, you know, you're trying to, I don't know, like, whatever. But something with the law or like justice, like legal matters, anything like that. Like, it's really been putting the test and like, okay, this is what you need to discipline yourself when it comes to like legal matters, higher education, traveling, something like that. Maybe something to do with like governments or like that, or your perspective, truth and stuff, a lot of stuff. you know, you have Neptune here as well too, so maybe it's been really like giving you all these illusions and dreams of like, oh, I wish I was on a deserted island and doing blah 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 blah. But it's like Saturn's like, no, you're not gonna be going to no deserted island. You need to like really understand how you need to get there, and you need to do these step-by-step things to, you know, get out there and explore the world and something like that. That's kind of how I see it. So just, I don't know. But then both of these planets are going to be just going back over these themes. So just kind of think about what I've been, you know, telling you. So Mercury will enter Leo in your second house. So you're going to be focused on money, wealth, savings, priorities, values, possessions, your work ethic. You're going to come into contact with an opposition to Pluto and Aquarius in your 8th house. So this could be, you know, 8th house is like the deepening part of relationships that nobody wants to talk about, or just certain themes that nobody really likes to think about or look at. Or 2nd house is your money. 8th house is other people's money. Maybe you're going to have some challenges between, you know, your money and other people's money. So just pay attention to that. Let's kind of move on. Then you have a new moon happening in your 1st house. Really just, you know, resetting the tone, resetting the, you know, the vibe of who you are, how you present yourself, something like that. Not the biggest thing in the world, but kind of like a little hallelujah, a fresh start, basically, for the next month. And then Venus will enter Leo, going opposite Pluto. So yeah, you're gonna you know, want to attract more money. You might earn a lot more finances having Venus travel through your 2nd house, which is really good. You're gonna find a lot more possessions being you know, basically earned, or just attracting more of those stuff. But you want to watch out for the opposition to Pluto in your 8th house. Something to do with like intimacy, you know, shared resources and stuff like that. Maybe inheritance. You might have some conflicts and stuff like that. You might have to find some balance when it comes to those themes. And then you have Mars coming into a conjunction with Uranus in your 11th house. Maybe you've been kind of doing whatever you had to do in order to, you know, keep your momentum rolling when it comes to working with groups of people, working for your communities and stuff like that. But this will be a liberating time when Mars comes into contact with Uranus. So that's going to be very exciting. It'll really push you in a new state of mind of like, okay, like, ooh, okay, I'm out of this dull situation, and maybe I can try something new. And then it really like shifts you into a new state of mind. And then Mars will enter your 12th house, and your energy will kind of just start to, I mean, it'll feel a little bit better, but the 12th house is a really hidden house. You might start focusing on doing things a little subconscious impulses, like impulsively doing things like you're not really aware of. So you want to be aware of that. Kind of be careful. I mean, especially when Mars gets near Jupiter, things are going to be really amplified when it comes to, you know, 12th house themes. So maybe kind of just watch what you do. I mean, yeah, so that's kind of what I have for you, Cancers. Let's move on to Leos. All right, Leos. Oh, and that full moon, whatever. Yeah, the full moon in, yeah, I gotta move on. Okay. All right, so everything's in your 12th house for you Leos. Yes, the energy is kind of ending its cycle, its yearly cycle, going through this part of your chart. Once we get into Leo season next month, you will really start to see, you know, new life come into place, which will feel really good. You'll have the sun, your ruler, enter your 1st house, which will really enhance just who you are and how you present yourself. But we're not there yet. Right now, you are trying to, well, you're in this kind of like state of mind of like, you know, calming things down. The energy is starting to soften up. The 12th house is about, you know, the hidden parts of life. isolating yourself, escaping, from reality. It could be something to do with like spiritual guides or doing things to help your mental health. Addictions you want to watch out for, because that's the 12th house themes. But it is all about endings. Like I said, the cycle is ending at this time. Everything is coming to a full circle, basically. Everything that you've been going through the past year, everything is kind of coming into, like I said. So that's okay though, because like I said, once we get to Leo season next month, new life. So the first thing that happens is this full moon in Capricorn, which will be the first of 2 full moons that will be happening in your 6th house. 6th house is about your work, the way you do your service, routines, leases, supplements, co-workers, wellness, injuries, physical health, and stuff like that. So maybe there's something coming up to light at this point that you're really being aware of. And then you're kind of like, oh, okay, this is like, this might be important. Maybe it's like an injury or something like that. Maybe something to do with your work. Something is being, brought to light. This spotlight is really on your 6th house of how you, of your work and what you need to provide in order to, do the daily grind of life, basically. So, but once we get to the 2nd full moon, you'll really understand these themes of like about work, service, injuries, illnesses, health issues, if you're taking care of pets, something like that. Even if it's like a pet injury and you're really being aware of like, oh, okay, I need to really take care of my pet. Maybe it's he needs a little bit of healing or something, or work on, basically. So could be anything. Routines, hygiene, fitness training. If you're trying to like build some muscle and do like training and something, like working out, you could be doing all that stuff. So any diets as well, like what you're doing for your body. You need to really work properly or operate healthy if you want to get things done, like your work. Okay, next thing happening is Saturn and Neptune stationing retrograde. Okay, so Saturn and Neptune are stationing retrograde in your 8th house. So the responsibilities, duties, what you had to discipline yourself on, like stuff like that. When it comes to like, also like soul contracts, refinances, shared resources, debts, loans, taxes, stuff like that. That's been the whole theme of what you've been really like, earned, or, Saturn's like, you need to focus on this part of life and we need to work on this a little bit more. So, over the past, few months, you're going to have to like start to implement these, themes into like either paying off some debt or really, deepening these relationships that you have either to, your partner, or like something to do with like their finances, and really like, I don't know, something to do with like shared resources, your partner's finances, your partner's possessions, really kind of disciplining yourself and working on these things in order for them to become either more real, or what will work for you if you pay off these debts, or work with other people's money or something like that. Possessions, you're gonna have to like really work a little bit harder, or just kind of be tested in a way. See what will help. You also have Neptune stationing retrograde in your 8th house, which has been bringing a little bit of illusions, which can be good or bad when it comes to shared resources or debts and stuff like that. But you're going to really see, the veil is going to be really thin at that time, at that point. And you're really going to understand what illusions are real and what illusions are not working for you anymore. When it comes to like shared resources, intimacy, something like that. So you'll start to understand all that stuff. Mercury will enter your 1st house on, the 2nd of July. That's going to really, like I said, now the planets will start to get in your 1st house of Leo. You'll start to feel that new life coming. Mercury is the planet of the mind, communication, something like that, okay? All that stuff that we process information. One important thing that's going to be happening is it's going to be opposite Pluto in your 7th house. 7th house is about relationships, other people, business contracts, partnerships, and stuff like that. you might have a little bit of a tension or tense aspects or tense energy when it comes to you and working with other people. Maybe, you know, conflicts, confrontations and stuff like that, fear-based manipulation, stuff like that when it comes to other people and how they're like coming at you. Yeah, you might want to be, you know, loud and proud of, this is who I am and nothing's gonna stand in my way, and then it's Pluto's like across from you. It's like, you gotta go through me first. So just kind of watch out. It'll be okay though once all these planets start to pass over Pluto. So just a little bump in the road, not the biggest deal in the world, but we will get past it. Let's see what's next. The new moon in Cancer happening. All right, so new moon in Cancer happening in your 12th house, resetting the energies when it comes to 12th house themes, spiritual guides, mental health, healing mental health, isolation, seclusion, really ending cycles at this point, starting new ones very soon. And then Venus will enter your first house. Excuse me. Venus will enter your first house. Yeah, it's very loud and proud. Venus, hot girl summer. You know, this is really gonna give you a little bit more of attractiveness, you know, towards, you know, what you how you attract people or how you impress others. It's going to be a very very hot, very sexy kind of like. But Venus will go opposite Pluto. That's kind of going to bring the manipulation, the fear-based power struggles and stuff like that. So just kind of watch out, you know, when it comes to that stuff. Like I said, you'll get past it and you'll start to enjoy that Leo side towards, you know, what's coming. Then Mars will form a conjunction with Uranus, and that'll just really implement things. These two planets are in your 10th house, so if things have been kind of going a little bit dull in your 10th house, in your public life, this will be the time to feel liberated into, you know, doing things or whatever. When it comes to, you know, your career, any skills that you have in the public, any roles that you are taking, any authoritarian roles, or just something like that in your public life is really going to be shifted. You're going to feel liberated. You're like the direction that you are taking. So just pay attention to that. Maybe you figure out something new and you're like, okay, I want to head into this direction, and you know, your long-term goals, and then you find a new like way of doing things, and you're like, oh, this can actually really help my, you know, my structure of what I want to do from my career and something like that. I don't know, something like that. Okay, and then Mars will enter your, hold on, Mars will enter your 11th house of Gemini towards the end of the month, and that's when we kind of get the last full moon in Capricorn. You'll start to understand like these themes when it comes to like work, service, routines, coworkers, stuff like that. Mars entering your 11th house of Gemini is really gonna like have you just give you a little bit more energy, because Mars is gonna be operating a little better coming out of Taurus. It's gonna be a lot of changes happening. It's a mutable sign, but yeah, you're gonna be wanting to chase after new opportunities. You're gonna have, like, when you're working with other people, it's gonna give you that ambition to just go, you know, working with other people, working for your community and stuff like that. Let's see. So yeah, that's about it for you Leos. Let's move on to Virgos. All right, Virgos. So everything is kind of building up in your 11th house of Cancer, and then there's a full moon happening in your 5th house. So 11th, 5th house is really being activated at this time. You're going to have another full moon in your 5th house towards the end of the Cancer season. But this energy is really good for you. You know, it's flowing good. It's flowing easily for you. It's kind of like, oh, you know, it's it's earth and water and stuff like that. But yeah, so 11th house themes, you know, are all about opportunities, group-based matters, like working in groups, communities, donations, aspirations, you know, just networking with people online or something like that, huge financial gains. That's 11th house. friends, I should say, as well, being opposite the moon, which is in your 5th house, illuminating your creative side, self-expressions, your inner child, love, desires, romance, dating, fertility, stuff like that, like something like that. So you're either like, the moon is really like putting the spotlight in your 5th house of like of these themes like I just mentioned, but this isn't really at its complete, it's not completing yet, it's not at its fullest, it's not finalizing yet. You're going to understand a little bit later towards the end of the Cancer season where like these things are really being illuminated, coming to its fullest, but it's shining a light on this area for you. So really pay attention of what's going on in your 5th house and your 11th house of like when it comes to working with people, groups of people, communities, and the moon shining a light on like your love side and passionate side and stuff like that, creative side. Let's see. Next thing happening is Saturn and Neptune stationing retrograde in your 7th house. All right, so Saturn, is about responsibilities, duties, maturity, discipline, doing the hard work, long-term goals. It's in your 7th house. And for you Virgos, I've been talking about this for the past year or so, over the last year. Relationships have been really testing your relationships over these past couple years now, since Saturn's been here. And Saturn's been really like putting the test of like, okay, are these people good for you? Are these people not good for you? You also have Neptune here, which has been here since like 2011, 2012, giving you all these illusions when it comes to like relationships, contracts, and stuff like that. So like, Neptune's been here for a long time, so I think you've been really understanding what is real and what is good for your relationships and what isn't good for your relationships. But having Saturn here is really trying to put all these things into reality, making it more real. So whatever ways of like disciplining yourself when it comes to relationships has probably been a huge challenge for you Virgos, as well as people that are Pisces as well. But these are like the people that you are coming into contact with all the time. Like I said, it's partnerships. It's like, it could be marriage as well. Like there's been a lot of like, really implementing these real life changes when it comes to relationships and who you are committing to or who you are supporting and stuff like that. So think about these themes. Saturn goes retrograde. This is going to just implement more of these reality checks to see what is working for you, what is good for your relationships, and what isn't good for your relationships. And I can say the same thing for Neptune as well. Illusions, deception, dreams, fantasies, and stuff like that. The veil is going to be very thin at that point, and you're really going to understand, what is good, what illusions haven't really worked for you, so you can really dissolve these old problems or situations when it comes to other people. Think about that. Mercury is entering your 12th house of Leo, and it's going to go opposite Pluto in your 6th. So as these planets start to go into the sign of Leo towards you, the cycle has been kind of ending. It will start to end once we get to like in August. Things will start to feel a little better. The planets will start to go into your sign and stuff like that. So, but your ruler Mercury is going into the 12th house. So it's kind of like Leo's like this, spotlight. But for you Virgos, Leo in the 12th house is a very interesting area of life, I would think. What I've seen, at least. Mercury's about, the communication, thoughts, processing information, sharing ideas. In the sign of Leo, big and bold, but it's in the 12th. So it's a very like hidden kind of, area of life. It's a really weird, like, I feel like it's kind of hard for a lot of Virgo risings to really like show off this Leo part, unless there could be some benefits that happens like in the backdrop of like what's hidden, maybe like If you're like in, I don't know, in your house or somewhere, and you're that's kind of how you like show off a little bit or whatever. I don't know, when you're alone and isolated, that's where you really shine your Leo side. But having Mercury enter this 12th house of you, it's a very like subconscious kind of level, mental health. Being opposite Pluto in your 6th house, it's about 6th house is about work, routines, physical health and stuff like that. So maybe you're going to be dealing with a lot of like mental, physical health, implementing, or not implementing, but just like challenges when it comes to like your mind body connection, mind body and spirit connection. So that's kind of what I can say about that. Let's see. Then you have a new moon happening in your 11th house. Just, restarting the energies and stuff like that when it comes to communities, friendships, working with groups of people, aspirations, your dreams, opportunities, something like that. Okay. The next thing happening is Venus is going into your 12th house of Leo as well as Mercury. So Venus and Leo, yes, Venus and Leo is very fun. It's a very flirtatious, big and bold, like, look at me, center stage, but it's going opposite Pluto first as it goes into your 12th house. So yeah, manipulation you want to watch out for, because, especially Venus in your 12th, it's a very sensitive area, I feel like, for Venus to be in. Being opposite Pluto is really, like I said, going to bring a lot of, like, manipulation, lies, power struggles. Just kind of watch out, tone it down a bit if you are dealing with some struggles when it comes to relationships, how you express your love and stuff like that. So, but after that, it'll feel a little good. Once you're in like your own, like, area, like you're isolated in your own space, maybe you'll have a little bit of fun and something like that. Mars is coming into a conjunction with Uranus in your 9th house. So maybe like out of the blue, boom, I'm going to like travel somewhere. You're feeling liberated about certain things about traveling or higher education or religion or just legal matters or just doing things to expand your horizons. It's gonna feel good. You're gonna feel liberated in a way. And then Mars will enter your 10th house by the end of Cancer season, and that's going to really like shift your direction of your ambitious when it comes to like your direction in life, when it comes to your career, your public life, your reputations and stuff like that. Maybe doing a lot more things. You also have the full moon in Capricorn, which I know it's in Aquarius right now, but the second full moon in Capricorn happening at this point, which is really illuminating these topics that I talked about in the beginning, when it comes to like your inner child, your self-expressions, taking care of children or playing with children, hobbies, romance, dating, stuff like that. It's really being illuminated at this time. Okay, so let's move on to Libras. Halfway there. Okay. All right. So for Libras, this is your 10th house and is being activated at this point. You have a full moon happening right here. Actually, let me get to the actual date. It's like right. Well, we'll count it right here. Okay. So the full moon in your 4th house is being illuminated. When it comes to like your home life, foundation, family, security, your roots, something like that. Your work, home life is being activated at this point, and there's something to be illuminated here that you're being aware of, but you won't fully understand what it is until the end of Cancer season, when we get the second full moon in Capricorn at this point. Okay. Next thing happening is what is it? Saturn and Neptune stationing retrograde in your 6th house. All right, so like I said, with all the other, transits or the other signs, Saturn is about, responsibilities, duties, maturity, disciplining yourself, long-term goals, something like that. Having it in the sign in Pisces, in your 6th house, I should say, this has been about, work. The way you work, your workspace, how you serve others, what you need to do in order to provide, you know, what's necessary for basically life. You know, what you need a job to, you know, provide for, you know, this and that and stuff like that. Maybe you've just been, you know, working twice as hard as you've ever worked ever since Saturn's been here, and it's really putting you into the test. But now, as Saturn and Neptune, as you know, they're starting to, you know, station retrograde, they're going to start going back over these things. Saturn is really just trying to implement these ways of serving, work, or whatever, making them more real. So yeah, it's probably been challenging for you. You probably had to adjust to certain things since Saturn's been in this area of life for you. But yeah, you are trying to make Saturn's trying to help you, you know, create more real life, you know, ways of like either taking care of work, maybe taking care of like injuries, maybe really giving you, making you aware of certain things when it comes to physical health, something like that. You know, Neptune's been here too, you know, giving you illusions of like what is good, what isn't, but you really need to understand at this point, and you will. You know, the veil is going to be very thin. You know, you're going to understand like, okay, maybe I'm doing too much, and if I do too much, I'm going to hurt myself, and you need to like really, you know, tone it down a bit when it comes to like certain things. But yeah, you know, so as these planets go retrograde, you know, go back over these this area of life for you, you're going to understand like what will work and what won't work for you anymore, what is real, what is not real, you know, dissolve all these things that are not real for you, that are not good for you as well. So yeah, Saturn will just want to help you, you know, make things more real when it comes to the way you provide work or service for others. Mercury will enter your 11th house of Leo, and it will go opposite Pluto. Mercury in the 11th house. Yeah, so this is, you know, Mercury's like loud and proud, you know, how it expresses itself. It's a very, you know, bold kind of sign. It's going opposite Pluto. So this is kind of a weird vibe, I think. You know, Mercury's in the place where the area of life when it comes to like, when it's focused on like, you know, communities, friendships, large groups of people, opportunities and stuff like that, being opposite Pluto in your 5th house, which 5th house is about, you know, your creative side, children, inner child, hobbies, inspiration, bucket list, passions, how you express your love, dating and stuff like that. So there, you might have some, you know, challenges when it comes to like, I guess, like impressing others. I wouldn't say impressing others, but just trying to connect with other people and like trying to like, but there's like some kind of fear-based themes happening in your 5th house of like, maybe you're too afraid of like, you know, putting out to the world, and I don't know, like kind of, that's a weird vibe, you know, it's a weird vibe to me. So just kind of watch out, you know, as these planets go into Leo and like go opposite Pluto, because I mean, Pluto is really like where your most powerful, you know, vibe is, you know, where it's coming from. It's digging deep into this 5th house themes for you, which is about love, you know, hobbies and like creative resources and your self-expressions. As these planets go into your 11th house, it's really focusing on these like communities and like just like, you know, big picture, your audience and stuff like that. So I don't know, that's a really interesting vibe to me. So I don't know, maybe comment on this, see what's been going on, but just kind of watch out, you know, watch what goes on in that, because Venus will end up going opposite Pluto, and once it goes into Leo too. So that's just an interesting transit to me. I think you'll have a new moon happening in your 10th house, which is really going to be, you know, resetting the intentions when it comes to, you know, your career, your public life, you know, your profession, structures, responsibilities, long-term goals, something like that. Okay, and then basically Venus will enter your 11th house of Leo, and it's going to repeat the same thing, you know, these themes of like, yeah, I want to attract like these new friendships and stuff like that, but you know, maybe these creative hobbies that you maybe want to do is kind of getting in the way of like, you know, these connections. I feel like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like that's kind of hard to really explain, but your 11th and 12th, 5th house is really being kind of challenged at this point. So after that, Mars is coming into a conjunction with Uranus in your 8th house, getting liberated when it comes to, you know, shared resources, you know, joint ventures. If you're going on joint ventures with other people, with your partners. Let's see, debts, inheritance, soul contracts, refinances, stuff like that. So, and then Mars will enter your 9th house to really expand your horizons, you know, and kind of just do, you know, to just start, you know, having these ambitions to travel, learn about religion, politics, higher education, you know, going to school and all that stuff. That'll really like enhance your stuff. You also have Jupiter here too, so. And then what, I think that's about it. And then the last thing, oh, actually I went way too far. And then the last thing is that full moon in Capricorn, really illuminating these themes that we talked about earlier. All right. Scorpios. This is a longer video than I expected, but it's okay. Lots to talk about. Okay. So, full moon in Capricorn happening in your 3rd house. This is the first thing happening. So this 3rd and 9th house is as your main focus for this month, because you're going to have another full moon in this area of life towards the end of Cancer season. This will kind of flow easier for you. The energies are in water and earth signs, so feels good for the most part. So yeah, 3rd house themes that are going to be illuminated: communication, short-term travel, relatives, siblings, transportation, writing projects, any of that stuff. Maybe that's been maybe that's been presented to you in a way that you are really being spotlighted, that you're really understanding or something. So you're going to understand what's been fully illuminated towards the end of Cancer season. And yeah, so next thing that happens is the Saturn and Neptune are going retrograde in your 5th house. So yes, if you've been restricted or limited when it comes to dating, romance, your self-expressions, dealing with children, yeah, so Saturn is trying to discipline yourself when it comes to these themes. It's going to start implementing these themes into making them more real, helping you, you know, build these, I guess, what if you're working like on a hobby or something, it's going to build these even a more solid structure of how you present these hobbies, how you present your self-expression. Just like really limited to you. It's really just trying to, and I mean, you have Neptune here as well. So I mean, even if you have like illusions when it comes to like dating or connecting with others or having a hard time, you know, understanding these like themes when it comes to like, you know, pleasures and creativity, you're really gonna have to understand like it's like you are just being tested when it comes to these themes. It's probably been a little bit more difficult having Saturn here, but Saturn wants you to kind of like grow in a way that you can really gain like new opportunities when it comes to like being creative and like hobbies and stuff like that. Like it's an entrepreneurship kind of house. Maybe earning money in a different way from these hobbies or something like that. Or just maybe really taking care of, like, if you have like a family, like children or something like that, like you've probably been really like having to discipline yourself into like raising kids or just taking care of kids or something like that. So maybe it hasn't been easy, but you're probably, I'm sure most of you Scorpios are like understanding like this point, having Saturn and Neptune at this point in the Pisces in your 5th house of like, this 5th house is being really like enhancing and becoming more real. Maybe things haven't felt real, but like Saturn has been trying to help you build these like new structures when it comes to hobbies, being creative, raising a family, or just seeing what's good. Even if you're dating or something like that and it hasn't been really working out for you, there's a reason probably behind it. And I think Saturn is trying to help you test these little things, see what isn't working, see what is working for you. And having Neptune here, the veil is very thin. You're going to start to understand these illusions and fantasies and stuff like that when it comes to these themes. So next thing is Mercury's going into your 10th house of Leo, and it's going to go opposite your 4th house. So it's kind of like the opposite of what I was talking about when I was on the Taurus, I think, one. But yeah, Mercury entering your most public area of life. Your something to do with your career, the role you're playing in your career. You're going to be loud and proud, speaking it off, off your chest. But there's something in your maybe home life that's bringing a little bit of power struggles, fear-based activity or something, whatever. Something to do with like your foundation is being corrupted. Your work, home life is like being like shooken up at this point. And you might have challenges when it comes to these themes, but I think you'll understand what needs to be, what needs to work out and what doesn't work. Okay, like, let me just erase what I just said. So if you're dealing with like something to do with your public life, you're focusing on that stuff, something in your home life is really being corrupted, it's being shooken up. It's like, well, maybe if I think about, figuring out something, a new way of doing, helping my work home life a little bit better, trying to structure my life, structure these responsibilities into really helping, keep my foundation, like on firm ground and stuff like that. That's kind of how I'd see that as. Let's see, what's the next thing happening? I think it's the new moon in Cancer as well. Okay, new moon in Cancer happening in your 9th house, resetting the intentions, refreshing the energies when it comes to traveling, expanding your horizons, religions, politics, principles, legal matters, academics, foreign stuff. Yeah. And then the next thing happening is Venus is going into your 10th house, entering Leo, going opposite Pluto. Yeah, it's not going to feel easy, but it's okay. So Venus and Leo is a hot girl summer type of vibe, feeling pretty proud and stuff like that, but it's going opposite Pluto. More corruptions in your home, your work and home life. Your career section and your home life is being kind of, challenged here. So things will start to pick up and feel a little better once they get past this aspect to Pluto. Mars and Uranus are together, and they're going to be shaking things up when it comes to your relationship status, your relationships in general. Maybe doing things, in a new way when it comes to your relationships, connecting with other people, business contracts, partnerships, something like that. Let's see. Yeah. So that's going to be a really liberating point. It's going to really shake up your relationships, even if it feels good or not, just saying. And then Mars will go into your 8th house of Gemini, and that's going to really give you a little bit of more of a wiggle room when it comes to what you want to do. And it's going to you're going to be focused on these deeper parts of these relationships, maybe going on joint ventures with your partners or trying to cut out some debt, because Mars represents, slicing, cutting things out. So your debt might be a little bit paid off, or just taking care of focusing on shared resources as well. And the full moon at the end of Cancer season will end up, you'll start to understand these themes when it comes to 3rd house themes, communication, short-term travels, transportation, stuff like that. All right, going to Sagittarius. Well, I know, we're almost done. Where are we at? Okay. Hold on. Okay. Sagittarius. All right, so this 2nd and 8th house is going to be the focus for you during this month. All these planets in your 8th house, it's in the area of life where, it's about, deepening your relationships and stuff like that. You focus on, shared resources, maybe paying off debt at this point, other people's money, joint ventures, something like that, refinances and stuff like that. You have this full moon happening in your 2nd house. So this full moon is showing is putting a spotlight on your financial side. You know, giving you a little bit of glimpse of like what will be coming to its fullest at, you know, the end of Cancer season. Maybe you will be, you know, earning more money or earning more possessions or values or whatever. Something your savings will be maybe increased at this point. So that's something to really pay attention to. Saturn and Neptune will be going retrograde in your 4th house of Pisces. So, you know, these ways of disciplining yourself, these ways of growing and building your foundation, you know, keeping your foundation on solid ground has been, you know, the test of what you've been presented to since Saturn has been here. But Saturn will try to help you a little bit more by implementing certain things that are working for you, keeping your foundation on, like I said, solid ground. Maybe, you know, dealing with family situations. Maybe that'll, like, you know, maybe you'll have to sort things out with any like family, you know, themes or whatever, your home life or whatever. But yeah, you've been really disciplining yourself when it comes to these themes, your living situation. And having Neptune here, it's been here forever, feels like. The veil is very thin at this point, so you're really gonna start to understand these intuitions, these maternal instincts that are gonna really help guide you into, you know, really, I guess, understanding how to really like keep like your foundation like just good, you know. It's all about building your foundation and keeping this like living situation like good and making it more real and seeing what works and what doesn't work for you. And Mercury will end up going into your 9th house of Leo. It's going to be, you know, loud and proud, focusing on the bigger picture, expanding your mind, something like that. It's going to go opposite Pluto in your 3rd house. So, you know, when it comes to like higher education or higher mind, it's going to be an intense aspect or a challenging aspect to Pluto in the 3rd house, which is about, you know, basic communication, lower mind. You might have a little bit of challenges here and there when it comes to these themes. Okay. And then, you have the new moon happening in your 8th house. So that's just going to really, you know, refresh energies when it comes to, you know, 8th house themes, shared resources, debts, taxes, inheritance, death related issues, situations, refinance, and stuff like that. And then Venus will enter your 9th house, really giving you more of a, you know, attracting foreign things, foreign people, or just different kind of vibes that are, you know, when it comes to traveling and stuff like that, you're going to really, you know, be enhancing on that, really just enjoy it. It's going to come into an opposition to Pluto, though. There's going to be some power struggles when it comes to communicating, traveling, maybe, you know, something like that. Maybe something to do with your short-term travel really kind of gets in the way of what you want to, you know, want to go traveling far and something like that. So maybe that's kind of something to deal with, that you have to deal with. And then Mars will enter, you know, Gemini, but before it gets there, we'll come into a contact with Uranus, you know, shaking things up, liberating your type of a way of like working, servicing, how you serve others and stuff like that. But like, yeah, you're going to feel liberated in a way that's kind of like, that will either feel good or just shake up your routines in some way that really pushes you outside of the norm, basically. And then Mars will go into your 7th house and really just, you know, give you some more room of like actually operating in a way that's more, I have a hair. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Mars in your 7th house. This is going to really give you the ambition to, like, you know, maybe support others more, do things with other people, and like increase these partnerships, these business contracts or something like that. Just give you a lot of energy dealing with other people and working with other people. But it's in the 7th house. You can also have confrontations as well. So you got to watch out for that. And I believe that is it. And then the full moon in Capricorn, the 2nd full moon, there it is, boom, you understand. Maybe you get, you know, and your money increases or something like that. So a lot of things happening in your finances and like other people's money, you know, finding some balance out. All right, Capricorns. We got to go all the way back until the moon is in your sign again. Okay. All right, Capricorn. So this is basically your first house and seventh house. Everything's going into your seventh house. That's other people, relationships, business contracts, supporting others, commitments, stuff like that. But having a full moon in your first house is really putting the spotlight on you, Capricorns. But this is the first of 2 full moons that are happening in your sign. So you are really kind of getting the spotlight of what's being reflected in your 7th house. That's a good way of explaining that. So maybe the focus is on other people, and your this moon here is really kind of showing the vibe of of who you are, how you present yourself and like that to other people. Or this moon in Capricorn is really trying to find some balance into how you can even things out, or balance between yourself and other people or something like that. Maybe supporting others, and you have to really, I don't know, maybe support them in a new way or something like that. But this is going to be a first of 2 full moons, so really pay attention of what's being illuminated when it comes to first house themes. Your identity, personality, the way you present yourself, the way you dress, let's see, whatever, your body, your character, how you act, impressions and stuff like that. So yeah, just think about that stuff. We're gonna come back. It's gonna come full circle at this point. Let's see. Oh yeah, so Saturn, your ruler, Saturn and Neptune. Well, Saturn's your ruler, not Neptune, but Saturn and Neptune are stationing retrograde in your 3rd house. So any responsibilities, discipline, the way you've been disciplining yourself, when it comes to 3rd house themes, short-term travel, communication, writing projects, social life, transportation, something to do with like your cars or whatever, or just relatives and spending time with siblings and stuff like that. It's really gonna start implementing these reality checks when it comes to these themes, making sure these themes are working in good hand for you, making them more real. If it's not feeling real, then they're going to be dissolved and gone away. Just kind of maybe the way you've been presenting your communication, it's been maybe stifling in a way, or maybe it has. And you've been kind of feeling a little bit better in a way, but not really fully there. But yeah, maybe you've been limited on spending time with siblings, traveling or connecting with people in your immediate environment, stuff like that. But you'll start to see these little changes happening, bringing more reality checks into these themes, having you communicate in a more mature way. Having Neptune here stationing retrograde is really just having you focusing on your intuition. That's kind of Neptune in the 3rd house, letting your intuition guide you into what feels good and what doesn't feel right, kind of how you communicate and stuff like that. So you're going to start to see these illusions of what has been presented to you and the way you've communicated, maybe changing the way you're communicating and stuff like that. So Mercury will enter your 8th house of Leo. It's going into the area of life that represents, shared resources, inheritance, intimacy, the occult, the hidden parts, secrets, stuff like that. Other people's money, going opposite Pluto in your 2nd house of your money. So maybe you'll be having some money issues with your relationships, or just with other people. Venus will get there as well, so that'll really kind of bring a little bit of a challenge when it comes to attraction, money and stuff like that, your values and savings. So a little bit of power struggles, fear-based stuff, so it's all right. You'll get past it. After that, let's see, you have a new moon happening in your relationship house, your 7th. So refreshing the energies when it comes to relationships and stuff like that. So and then Venus will enter your 8th house, like I said, and then it'll go opposite Pluto. Not going to feel good, but it's okay. You'll live. Just take it easy when it comes to what you want, and what other people want, I should say, and what you are trying to hold for yourself when it comes to finances or possessions and stuff like that. So and then Mars will come into contact with Uranus in your 5th house, liberating ways of self-expression, creativity, hobbies, stuff like that. And then Mars will enter your 6th house, putting your energy, shifting your energies to like really put most of your energies into work and just like servicing others. Mars loves to be in the 6th house as well, so it's going to give you an extra boost into doing things a little bit. And then you have the full moon happening full circle, like I said. There's something here being illuminated when it comes to who you are and what you're representing. All right, next one. All right, Aquarius is. All right, so everything's in your 6th house. You're kind of maybe, putting your work on the, focusing on your work and how you serve other people. Maybe trying to take care of what's necessary when it comes to work, stuff like that. You have a full moon happening in your 12th house. 12th house, 6th house is kind of like the mental, physical, realm. And there's a balance here that's being presented. The spotlight is being lit up in your 12th house, the most hidden part of your chart. But there's something being illuminated here. You're being aware of something that's 12th house themes. Isolation, seclusion, mental health. Like I said, there's something ending here as well. And then addictions as well, alienation, spiritual guides. But having it in all these planets in the 6th house reflecting, all this stuff, being presented, there's gonna have to be some type of balance when it comes to how you present your work and what you need to really keep yourself leveled. This is mind, body, spirit connection kind of vibe as well. The areas of life, really putting that focus on that stuff. So. But it's going to come full circle. We're going to come back to this at the end of Cancer season. So next thing happening is your ruler, Saturn, is going retrograde in your 2nd house, followed by Neptune. So having your ruler in your 2nd house has been you've been probably putting a lot more effort and energy into building your financial side, your savings, possessions, your ownership, your work ethic. It's been probably a little bit difficult at times, but I think I think Saturn will end up really helping you implement these changes, implement these new these material things, security and stuff like that over time. And having Neptune here, the veil is thin at this point. You're seeing the illusions of what has been presented to you. You're going to understand maybe certain things aren't good for your possessions or what your priorities are. But yeah, these two are really going to just implement these reality checks and see what works for you and see what doesn't work for you when it comes to your financial side and stuff like that. Next thing happening is Mercury entering your 7th house of Leo, going opposite Pluto in your 1st. So Pluto in your 1st house has probably really enhanced your personality and as it's been here. Having Mercury go into your opposite sign of Leo, maybe you'll have some confrontations when it comes to other people and how you're connecting with other people and stuff like that. You might have some challenges in that, so you want to just be careful and kind of just take it easy, find some balance. Maybe you're the one that's manipulating other people. You got to watch out for that, or they're trying to manipulate you. So you got to find some balance and compromise and when it comes to that stuff. So might not feel easy, but yeah, it'll be okay though. You'll have a new moon happening in your new moon happening in your 6th house, refreshing the energies when it comes to like I said, work themes, taking care of your health, maybe taking care of a pet, co-workers, wellness, leases, routines, supplements, fitness training, working out. It's just going to give you a new opportunity to do these new themes. And then Venus will enter your 7th house, shifting the vibe of what you attract, how you express your love and stuff like that. It's going opposite Pluto, so you're going to have some challenges coming up with you and other people. You got to take it easy, tone it down a bit if you have any manipulations or fear-based power struggles when it comes to how you love and what you love and stuff like that. So After that, Mars is coming into contact with Uranus in your 4th house. So there's going to be some liberating things happening in your 4th house when it comes to like home life, your foundation, family, something like that, your maternal instincts, your intuition, something like that. And then Mars will enter your 5th house. And that's going to really shift the whole vibe of your direction of what you want to chase. You're going to be probably wanting to, express yourself a little bit, a little bit more, maybe work on 2 different hobbies, do two different things at once, bucket list items, inspirations, like these are going to be the themes. And then here's the full moon, the second full moon happening in your 12th house, coming to light. You're going to probably understand like these, these mind, body, and spirit kind of houses, like 12th house, mental health, 6th house, physical health. It's coming to a balance. You're finally understanding what's good for you and what's not good for you. Maybe when it comes to like healing and stuff like that. So that's what I got for you guys. All right, last but not least, Pisces. All right, Pisces, here we go. So everything is really building up in your 5th house. You're enjoying life, enjoying like little love, love things. Your desires are being enhanced, your creative side, self-expressions, maybe spending time with children, or just your inner child. You're just feeding it like it's nothing. Like you're just putting it all on the table and just enjoying all the pleasures of life. Having a full moon in your 11th house is really shining a light on other people, your audience, networking, communities, groups of people and stuff like that. So maybe whatever you've been working on over here, like I said, you're kind of like in this performer state of mind. The full moon in Capricorn is really shining a light on other people of what you can provide for them, or where's the balance coming out between you and other people, you and your audience. You're going to come full circle when we have another full moon happening over here towards the end of Cancer season, and you'll understand what's being illuminated at this time when it comes to opportunities, abundance, communities, aspirations, groups of people, huge financial gains. So, all right, next thing is Saturn and Neptune are stationing retrograde in your 1st house. So Saturn, Neptune's been here for in your 1st house. Saturn's been here since last year. Neptune's been here since 2011, almost like 14, 15 years. Excuse me. So Saturn is about discipline, maturity, long-term goals, basically all of that stuff. And it's really been limiting who you are. It's been really probably making you a more serious person. Pisces are very, very enjoyable people, just kind of like go with the flow and stuff like that. But having Saturn here has been probably restricting these areas for you, how you present yourself, getting more serious and stuff like that. So any responsibilities of who you are, how you present yourself, basically all that stuff is really, being, you're really probably been more disciplined than you have ever. So, but it's okay though. This is the time to really implement more changes into your identity of like who you want to be, how it could, help you out in the long-term goals. Maybe when it comes to like work or just relationships or anything that, requires time and hard work. It's kind of an interesting vibe having Saturn in your 1st house, but there's kind of like a beginning happening here. There's a start, there's something starting up, and it's really like putting you to the test of who you really are. Having Neptune here as well, now it's going retrograde as well. So these illusions that you have maybe presented to other people or impressed other people through your personality, the veil is very thin. You're going to understand what illusions or dreams or fantasies you can present yourself that can actually do you good, and you'll know what doesn't do you good anymore. That's kind of how I see it. So all right, next thing happening is Mercury going into your 6th house of Leo, entering your work house. You're really putting your focus towards work, service, fitness training, routines, finding a routine. Going opposite Pluto in your 12th house is gonna really like shake things up when it comes to like your mind, body, spirit connection. Pluto in the 12th house is really like putting an enhanced power on your subconscious. It's probably been very heavy dealing with Pluto in the 12th house, I can imagine. And having like, you know, I don't know, just kind of, it's just take it easy. That's all I want to say. Because I mean, 12th house is not the easiest houses, but you got to try to find some balance in order to heal certain things. Yes, it's not going to feel easy. You're probably going to have a lot more fear-based, you know, themes coming up, and you got to just take it easy. So next thing, new moon happening in your 5th house, refreshing the energies when it comes to love, romance, dating, you know, inner child, creativity and stuff like that. So just like a little refresh, starting something new. And then Venus will enter your, oops, hold on. Okay, Venus will enter your 6th house of Leo. It'll go opposite Pluto as well, you know, bringing these themes up when it comes to power struggles. Eventually, you know, you're gonna start to enjoy these little Venus and Leo things when it comes to like your career. No, not career, like your coworkers and your workspace and stuff like that, and start to enjoy it more. It's gonna bring a lot more sweetness and soothingness when it's that. But and first, it has to go through this opposition to Pluto, so just take it easy. It'll be okay. You'll get through it, though. Mars will enter. Well, Mars will actually come conjunct to Uranus before it enters Gemini. So something to do with your like 3rd house theme, communication, short-term travel, your immediate environment, neighbors. Something in your immediate environment. You're gonna feel a little liberated into doing something unexpected. So that's going to be exciting, but it could go either way. So just be careful. But I believe it'll really help you out, though. Whatever it is when it comes to like writing projects, your social life, education, interests, siblings, relatives, something like that. Mars will enter your 4th house of Gemini, and that's going to like shift the whole vibe. You know, you're going to really focus on your home life, your foundation, what you're doing around your home and something like that. Your intuition is going to probably be heightened at this time. That's kind of going to help you guide your direction of what you are going after. So that is it for Cancer season. I will continue this into the next video when I talk about July, and we will talk more about this stuff. So if you are still here, thank you for watching. I know this is a very long video. Didn't expect it, but there's a lot to talk about. And yeah, so big month, easy month. Cancer season is going to feel really nice, guys. I really hope all of you guys enjoy it. Take it easy. If there's any challenges, these oppositions to Pluto are not going to feel good. But we have to get through it, and we got to just take it easy and tone it down when we deal with these fear-based power struggles, okay? So thank you for being here again. We will see you in the next video. If you want to check out the merch, I'll put the link in the description box below, and other important things that you should check out. So that is about it for us. Thank you again for being here. I love you all, and I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you in the next video.